In one of my previous videos, and in the video I made of recent, I talk about what game engines are. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how game engines work. Now, every time you boot up a game, whether it's a pixelated indie on your phone or photorealistic open world on your console, you are running on a piece of software so complex most people never think twice about it. It's called a game engine. And guess what? Without a game engine, your favorite games simply wouldn't even exist to begin with. So today, we are going under the hood. We'll cover what a game engine actually is, how it works, and we'll meet the pioneers who built the foundations of modern gaming. Think of a game engine as a foundation of a building. You don't see it, but everything stands on top of it. A game engine is a software framework, a reusable set of tools and systems that developers use to build games without starting from scratch every single time. Most game engines existed. Before game engines existed, developers had to hand code everything, every pixel, every collision, every sound cue specific to one game or one machine. It was painstakingly slow. Game engines changed that by packaging the most common complex tasks into reusable modules. Here are the core system or inside almost every modern engine. At number one is the rendering engine. Every game engine has a rendering engine. This draws everything you see on screen, handles 2D sprites, 3D meshes, lighting, shadows, shaders, and post-processing effects. Number two is the physical engine. Simulates the real world, gravity, collision, friction, ragdoll effects, all calculated in real time. This is done by the physics engine. Now for the sound, the audio engine takes control of the sound effects, manages sound effects, music, spatial 3D audio, and dynamic mixing. Then we move on to the fourth system, which is the input system. This translates your controller, keyboard, or mouse input into in-game action. Then to the next system, scripting and AI. This runs the game logic, enemy behavior, quests, cutscenes, all powered here. This scripting also runs the behavior of your NPCs, the non-playable characters in video games. Those things you see in video games that some NPCs behave in certain ways. This is run by the scripting and the AI department. Now, the next one is the scene management. This organizes game objects, levels, and the transitions between them. Like, it organizes the way the game is. Like when you're editing a video, for each clip in the video, how the clips are arranged. This is what the scene management tool does. Now for the networking aspect, for multiplayer games, this aspect of the game engine signs game states across players over the internet. These are for the games that are involved online. There are online games like the Call of Duty Mobile, Free Fire, Blood Strike, EAFC, eFootball. Pull all of this together and you get a complete game engine. A one-stop shop for building an entire world from scratch. A looping diagram. At the heart of every game engine is something called the game loop. It sounds simple, but it's what makes the games feel alive. Here is how it works every frame. And in a modern engine that runs 60 times per second or more, the engine runs through the same cycle. Process input, display, it updates state, move characters, apply physics, run AI logic, draw collisions, render, it draw the current frame to your screen, then it repeats. So the game engine basically processes input, updates state, and render, and then repeats the same task 60 times a second, every second, for the entire duration of a gameplay. Now rendering is where things get really wide. The rendering pipeline takes 3D data, polygons, textures, light sources, and converts them into 2D image on your screen. Modern engines use your GPU to do this in parallel at insane speeds. They use shaders, small programs running on the GPU, to calculate exactly how light bounces off a surface, how water refracts, how skin subsurface scatters light. That's why modern characters look almost real. Now the physics engine runs on a similar principle. It treats every object as a mathematical body with mass, velocity, and forces acting on it. That is to say, it obeys the laws of physics. That's why games like GTA 4, Grand Theft Auto 4 had the best physics of any Grand Theft. In fact, it's arguably one of the games with the best physics in gaming history. Everything was so everything in the game was so realistic, from the car behavior, the way the cars did and behave when you crash them, to the way the NPCs behave and everything. Every frame it calculates, every frame the physics engine calculates new position based on those forces, simulating reality in real time. What this is trying to say is, every frame it calculates new position based on those forces, then which in turn simulates the reality in real time. And all of this rendering physics audio input runs in parallel, managed by the engine's core system to hit that frame deadline every single time. Now let's talk about people who built all of this. John Carmack and John Romero. If there are two names synonymous with the birth of the game engine, it's John Carmack and John Romero. In 1992, their game Wolfenstein 3D introduced a pseudo 3D engine that ran fast enough on consumer PC to feel like you were inside the game, but that was just the warm-up. In 1993, the Doom everyone knows, shipped with the ID Tech 1 engine, a revolutionary piece of software that introduced the concept of level editors, modding support, and efficient real-time rendering. Doom didn't just sell games; it licensed its engine to other developers. The engine licensing model was born. Then came Quake in 1996, ID Tech 2, the first fully 3D game engine, real polygons, real 3D environment. It changed everything. Carmack in particular was a genius level programmer who invented or popularized techniques still used today, like binary space partitioning, portal rendering, and shadow volumes. In 1998, Team Sweeney released Unreal Tournament on the Unreal Engine, and it was a real jaw-dropper. Where ID Tech was lean and fast, Unreal was lush. It prioritized visual fidelity with scripting tools, an in-engine editor, and support for large dedicated environments. Sweeney had the foresight to build Unreal Engine as a platform, not just a game framework. Today, as we are speaking, as of the time I'm making this video, Unreal Engine 5 powers some of the most visually stunning games ever made, and is used in film, architecture, and live TV production. The list of the games that Unreal have powered is, I did a video on it, so you can go and check the video out on my channel. Epic's Nanite and Lumen system in Unreal Engine 5 are redefining real-time rendering in real time. When Half-Life 2 launched in 2004, it stunned players not just with its gameplay, but with its facial animation, physics simulation via the Havoc engine, and its seamless integration of story and environment. Now, the pioneers of this engine were the creators of this engine were Gabe Newell and Valve, the Source engine. Now, the Source engine, developed under Gabe Newell's leadership at Valve, became a staple of PC gaming through the 2000s, powering Counter-Strike, Portal, Team Fortress 2, and more. Its modding tools were accessible enough that a generation of indie developers cut their teeth on Source, feeding directly into the indie game explosion of the 2010s. David Helgason, Unity Technologies. Perhaps no engine democratized game development more than Unity. Founded in 2004 by David Helgason and his co-founders, Unity was built with one core philosophy: make game development accessible to everyone. Before Unity, making a 3D game required expensive licenses or years of custom engine work. Unity offered a free tier, an intuitive editor, and cross-platform export to desktop, mobile, and console. The result: thousands of indie developers, many with no prior engine experience, shipped real games: Hollow Knight, Pokemon Go, Cuphead with some help, Among Us, and all other Unity games. I also made a video on top 5 games or on top 10 games or thereabout that showed the power of the Unity engine, of the Unity 3D engine. So you can also check that video out. Now, Unity didn't just change what could make games, it changed who did. Now, today, game engines are more powerful and more accessible than ever. Unreal Engine 5 renders scenes indistinguishably from film. Unity powers billions of mobile downloads. Godot, an open source engine, is surging in popularity as a free alternative. Amazon's Bloomberg, ID Tech 7, Frostbite, EA's internal engine. The ecosystem is vast. Engines are no longer just for gamers. They are used in virtual production for Hollywood, architectural visualization, military simulations, and real-time interactive media. The new frontier: AI integration into engines, procedural word generation, adaptive NPC behavior, real-time asset creation is already underway. Like, we are going, the things I just mentioned now is one of the things we are going to be seeing in GTA 6. According to the leaks, it says that the police will remember you. Some of the NPCs will also remember you, what you did to them. It's not like the previous GTA where you can do something and the police and the NPC won't even remember you when you come around next time. From John Carmack's basement to billion-dollar platform used by millions, game engines are arguably the most impactful softwares ever built for creative work. They are the invisible backbone of every world you have ever explored, every enemy you have defeated, every story you have lived. So next time a game blows your mind, remember something: somewhere underneath it all, a game loop is ticking at 60 frames per second, and somebody built that from scratch. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and drop your favorite game engine in the comments.